It's time for the First to the Floor Midseason Awards. Sorry about that intro. I'm very excited for this particular segment. Like we said, it's not the middle of the season, but I think psychologically it's recognized as sort of the mid section of the season because of the break. So we've got some award categories to lay out here. We'll start with the game of the season so far. What have you got, Spoons?
I'm going to go with the Raptors game, I think in December.
That's what I had.
Really?
Yes.
Dude, are you kidding me? That's
I'm
so
not
weird.
kidding you.
And I think Scal said best win of the season when we were up like 12 with 2 minutes left and the Raptors immediately cut it to 6. But we were down a bunch of people. I believe we were on the third game in 4 nights, a back-to-back. I think we played in Miami and then flew up to Toronto. I'm pretty sure Blake started that game. That was the game for me where I was like, wow, this team is for real. Unfortunately, I believe they went out west and lost 4 straight after the Suns' domination. But I'll give that Raptors game where it's like, this team's a little different, man. They got some grit. They know how to win games even when they're not at their best.
Yeah, hustle, grit, tenacity was sort of my main bullet points from that one. Just beating the Raptors. I know that they're not the Raptors that they were a few years ago, but we still despise them. A great team win. Second night of a back-to-back, we'd played and beat Brooklyn the night before. And just that second half turnaround. Brooklyn. And let me see if I can find it here. Oh yeah, this insane highlight play from that particular game.
Picked up the foul. Have faith and have patience. Yeah, no doubt. Smart picked up the foul there. Siakam went 1 and 2 from the line and a slam dunk and a foul.
Yeah, that's right. Blake Griffin dunks. We love them. Moving on. Award number 2. This is the Marquise Daniels Award for most underrated. Who you got, Spirits?
Al Horford.
I had Al Horford too.
Are you kidding me? I swear we did not prepare this at all. I actually wrote in the name of the awards. I filled this out like 2 hours ago. So Ben didn't even know what we were talking about until 2 hours ago. I think Al's got a combination of being a borderline elite defensive center that can play the 4 as well defensively, and he's a borderline elite 3-point shooter. There's just not that many guys in the league who have that combination of skill sets. I mean, it's like Embiid, and I mean, I'm not sure there's any. I mean, there's just a very, very, very small number of those types of guys. For me, it's got to be Al. Even though his counting numbers are down, like he's got a massive impact on this team. He's, I think he might be 3rd or 4th in plus minus for the season total. So Al just doesn't get a lot of love, but he just goes out there and does his job, and he does it at a borderline elite level, which I've now said 3 times. So that's how you know I love Al Horford, because he's borderline elite.
Yeah. I'll just add that he's borderline elite. And but seriously, his true shooting percentage it's above 60% this season. He's shooting 42% from 3. He's always a net positive, like Horford lineups per cleaning the glass, just overall 89th percentile in point differential, 83rd percentile in turnover percentage. We see it almost every year. Like he just quietly goes about his business, quietly impacting in the shadows. His view on the regular season, very unlike Tristan Thompson, is that it's a readiness platform for the postseason. It's not that it doesn't matter in comparison to the postseason. It's just that you use that time to ready yourself for postseason competitiveness. A lot of love for Al Horford. The next award, the Marcus Smart Award for Best Defensive Player.
I don't want to go first. I don't want to go first. You go first.
All right, let me find my little graph here. So, and you can help me decide, because this is a tough one.
I agree.
I don't fully know, and I've just realized that this is like too small for me to read. So this is Basketball Index's defensive impact metrics. And so I've limited it to Derek White, Marcus Smart, and Rob Williams. I think they're like the 3 finalists in this particular award. For Derek White, on-ball defense, he's I can't read this, the 94th percentile in the league on-ball defense, 84th percentile in ball screen navigation, 86th percentile off-ball chaser on defense, defensive LeBron, 90.6%. So those are some crazy defensive stats for Derek White. Marcus Smart, pickpocket rating, the 92nd percentile, steals per 75 possessions, the 86th percentile, and he's the 80th percentile in defensive LeBron as well. So out of those 2, I don't know, I feel like I've got to go with Marcus Smart. Is that good? Is that wrong? Like, I know
No, because I'm going White. I'm going Derek White. So that's okay. I picked Derek White. So I'm glad you're going somebody different. So I think Smart is absolutely more versatile. Like if you have Smart switched onto a big or a big wing, like I'm not worried at all. Derek White, we got to scramble him out of there just because he can't handle. And Smart is like maybe the most underrated box out guy in the league. He had a couple box outs last night on Stewart and Duran that like he just erased them from the offensive glass, and he didn't get the rebound, but the Celtics did, which I think is super important. But the only reason I went Derek White above Smart is one, he's got the most blocks on the team and he's like a 6'3" point guard. And he's incredible chasing shooters around and incredible on ball, even though he does it in a little different way from Marcus. He's not quite as aggressive. He's not as physical, but he's just foundationally very sound, and he just can slip around screens. He's impossible to screen, and he's switchable. I mean, he's just not as switchable as Smart, who's an absolute psychopath as a switchable point guard. So I went with Derek White just because, and also Smart, he's missed 10 games and I'm a recency bias sucker, so.
Yeah, no, so am I. But I mean, Rob Williams very quickly, let me make the case for him. Post defense is in the top 80th percentile. Rim points saved per 75 is in the top 96th percentile. Blocks per 75 in the top 90th percentile. And his defensive positional versatility is in the top 93rd percentile. I think I might have to go with Rob Williams. And then you look at how I think the defense prior to his return, so in that stretch early in the season, we had the 8th best defense, and we're I think the 3rd or 4th best defense. Yeah. We've got the 3rd best defensive rating in the league since he's returned. And I think just culturally, the trickle-down effect that Rob has had since he's returned to the lineup, I think I've got to give this award to Rob Williams. So it's a dual award, giving it to Rob Williams and Derek White. Seems crazy, seeing as Marcus Smart is the rating defensive player of the year. Clearly, I've got the blurry stats to prove it.
Yes, clearly you all see.
Moving on, the Ray Allen Award for the 3rd best player on the team. Spoonie.
This one is an impossible question to answer. I don't know how to answer it. But again, going a little recency bias here. He's very versatile on both ends. He's had to do a bunch of different stuff throughout the season, especially offensively, and especially recently. He's basically been asked to be our 2nd best player. So I'm going with Derek White.
Okay. Thought you might say that.
We're 8 points per 100 better when Derek White's on the floor. He leads the team in 538's Raptor metric. He's 2nd on the team in B-ball index as LeBron and ESPN's estimated plus minus. His impact is absolutely ridiculous. And he's shown recently when he has to take a bigger offensive role, he's up for it, man. I mean, he's dropping 20 and 10s like it's going out of style these last couple weeks here. So, I do not think Derek White is the 3rd best player on the team, but I think Derek White's been the 3rd best player on the team. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Yeah, I have a different take, and this is for everyone listening. You're going to hear that this is where my time to research these awards ran out. I'm just going to say that it's unquestionably Marcus Smart.
Fair.
I know we're all in love with the mistress, with Derek White right now, and he's been awesome, but we saw the offensive dip when Marcus Smart went out. I don't think that was a coincidence. And yes, Derek White did slowly build it back up, but Smart came back, and albeit against the worst in the East Pistons, the offensive end, both humming when he returned yesterday, it's Marcus Smart. Like, we don't need to overthink it. It just is Marcus Smart. It's a big 3. He's the 3rd head on the snake there. Clearly, he's like, we've talked about it before, he's the maestro that conducts the orchestra. And Derek White might have been promoted to first violin or first trumpet or whatever you want to say, but Marcus Smart is the maestro. He's the dude in Whiplash, like absolutely getting the best out of his students. I don't know if that's a good analogy or not, but that's what I was sticking with. So another 2-pronged award there, very deservedly going to Derek White and Marcus Smart. Second final award here, second last award, the Evan Turner Award for Best Comedic Performance / Locker Room Presence. Spoonie.
I think this is a 2-man race.
Okay.
I went with a man of many names, a man who laughs at himself when he dunks. I'm going with the Cornish game hen, Stromile Swift's brother. I'm going with Luke Cornett. Yeah.
I went with Blake Griffin.
All right, fair.
And I think that both are very valid. So, we're going to give the award to both of these candidates. But Blake Griffin has been highlighted for his locker room impact and sort of his like cultural nourishment of the players on the team with what he brings and what he's had to sacrifice as far as production and touches and shots and things like that. I think they're probably on pace with each other humor-wise. Maybe Blake's taken it to the stage. So you have to give him some big ups there. But then, just his effect on the locker room. And I think he actually props up guys like Luke Cornett to be the best version of themselves based on what he's bringing to the table. So, but we'll happily give out the award to both of them.
I agree. But when we think back on this season, what some of the most memorable moments are Luke Cornett being absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely. So for that reason, I gotta give it to him.
Him comparing himself to Strobel Swift in the post-game presser is like an all-time Celtics off-the-court moment.
Deadpan is all get out, too. It's beautiful. Basically the same player.
Yeah. So this is the last award, the First of the Floor award for First of the Floor, presented by First of the Floor. Thanks to Wayne Spooney for titling these awards. Great job. I'll go first. It's Blake Griffin.
That is who I had, dude. It's got to be Blake. We touched on it earlier. The fact that he is a multi-time All-NBA player who went number one in the draft and has led competitive teams to deep playoff runs as their number one scorer. And then he's diving into the stands in a 16-point game against the Detroit Pistons about to go into the All-Star break. It's like, honestly, kind of like, it's like impressive. I don't know. Like it makes me feel like, go out there, Blake. I want to be the best version of myself, like Blake Griffin is doing right now, because he's like, knows he doesn't have it anymore. And it's like every game, dude, he hits the floor. He's taking charges. He had that hilarious back down where he missed it like twice and then finally got it back and scored. And I was just it pumped for him. So I think this one is very easily Blake Griffin with a slight nod to Marcus Smart, who is always ready to dive on the floor whenever.